This is maize. This is what your chicken usually eat 70% of their feed. 70% of our feed is usually consists of maize, and this is what it is. Most farmers usually waste a lot of the money in feeds. And in this video, I'm going to tell you guys of how you can make your own feed and also the best way of how you can feed your chicken. I realize that most farmers usually end up overfeeding their chicken or underfeeding their chicken. This video has been highly requested, and that's why I'm putting out this video. Don't waste a lot of your money on feeds, and also don't waste a lot of feeds. You get what I mean? Yes. So as you can see, these are our chicken. These chicken currently are 10 weeks of age. I want it to focus properly. You can see these chicken are 10 weeks of age, and this chicken currently they are consuming about 3.5 bags of feed per day. 3.5 bags of feed per day, that is a 50 kg bag. So currently this chicken that you see over here are consuming around 175 kg of feed in a single day. And remember, out of that 175 kg, 70% of the feed consists of this maize. This maize, you can plant it on your own here in Africa. And if you are able to plant your own maize, you will be able to cut down big time on the cost of feed. Because currently, here in Kenya, there's a game that is going on. We have these animal feed manufacturers. The animal feed manufacturers have decided that they are not reducing the prices of feeds for the animals. If you can see over here, because a long time ago, they were selling to us one bag of chick mash at 4,000 Kenyan shillings, which is around $35. When the cost of maize, a 2 kg bag of maize, 2 kg bag of maize was costing like 200 Kenyan shillings. Now it is costing 100 Kenyan shillings. Okay, do you get the math? It was costing 200 Kenyan shillings, and they were selling to us the chick mash at 4,000 Kenyan shillings. And now it is costing half the price. It has dropped by 50%. But still, they are selling to us the same chick mash, which constitutes of 70% of these. You see? You see the game? Which constitute of 70% of maize. And the maize flour, which has dropped by 50%, they're still selling us at the same price. So this is a game that is going on around the country. So I want you, if you are living in Kenya, I want you to try and make your own feed if you want just to become profitable, because the game is too big and you really have to know how to be able to survive in this industry. Because if you just do your math, for example, if you are a person that you are doing the layers, these layers that people usually eat for eggs, if you are going to produce an egg, to produce one egg, it costs you around 11 Kenyan shillings. And you are selling that egg for around 15 Kenyan shillings. So that means that you are only getting 4 shillings for every egg that you sell. That means that around 10 to 11 bob is going to the feed manufacturers. And yet, if you are able to plant maize, even if you are not able to plant maize, if you are able to source your own maize, because for 100 kg bag of maize like this one is going for around 4,000 Kenyan shillings. And yet they are selling to us a 50 kg bag of chick mash at 4,000 Kenyan shillings. So I want to give you some rough estimates so that you can be able to know how you have been wasting your money in this industry. If you are able to harvest maize like this, for example, you can get like 100 bags or 200 bags. It depends with your budget. Then you go to the market and then you get something known as a concentrate. If you are able to get a concentrate, what is a concentrate? So many people have asked me. So you can see the chicken over here. They are really growing up very, very well. These ones are very, very satisfied after they have consuming around 175 kilograms in a day. And how I usually feed this chicken so that I cannot be able to get a loss, I usually feed them in twice. In the morning around 8 to 9, then in the evening around 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. That is the time that I usually feed this chicken. If you are just able to feed this chicken those 2 times, you will be able to make the chicken grow up properly. Just don't feed your chicken all through. So let's continue. What is a concentrate? A concentrate is a mixture of all kinds of protein, all kinds of amino acid, all kinds of minerals, all kinds of vitamins that are needed by the body of the chicken, plus all kinds of the toxin binder that are needed by the body of the chicken. So if you are able to purchase the concentrate for your chicken, if you just purchase concentrate for your chicken, for example, I won't give the name of the company for the concentrate. They will have to sponsor my video so that I can be able to market them. If you are able to put 50 kg of a concentrate, you'll be able to make around 300 kgs of feed for a chicken. That means that you will be able to make around 6 bags of feed that you can give to your chicken. Remember, you're only using 50 kg of concentrate. The rest, around 250 kg, comes from this. That's why I want to tell you, these guys are just selling to you the maize, and only they're selling to you around 20% the other concentrated part. So the concentrated part, if you even do the mathematics, for example, say they are selling to you the concentrate at a very high price. If you do the math, for 1 bag of chick mash, you can buy 25 kg of concentrate. So meaning if you have 2 bags of chick mash, you are able to buy 1 bag of concentrate, because the cost of concentrate is 8,000 Kenyan shillings. So if you are able to purchase 1 concentrate and you are able to make yourself 300 kgs of growers for this kind of chicken, you'll be able to save your production cost by around 25% per day. So if you are able to save the cost of production for your chicken by 25% per day, meaning if it's for the layers, you'll be able to produce an egg for around 7.5 to 8 shillings. Meaning if you sell your egg at 15 Kenyan shillings, you'll be able to make around 7 to 8 shillings per egg instead of making 4 bob. So if you are able to do that, if for example, if you calculate it, for example, you have like 10,000 chicken, or let me say for 1,000, and your chicken are laying like 900, that means that in a day you'll be able to add yourself 3,600 Kenyan shillings per day in profit. So if you do it in a month, that will be approximately 100 and what? Around 108,000 Kenyan shillings that you would have saved out of only 1,000 chicken. You'll be able to make a profit of an additional of 108,000 shillings if you are able to make your own feed. And for the concentrate part, for the 50%, what you add 100 kgs of maize, then you add around 150 kg of maize germ. The cost of a 90 kg bag of maize germ is around 1,500 Kenyan shillings, which is a way cheaper. Because why am I saying that we are using the maize germ and we are not using just the whole maize with the whole proportional of the remaining? The reason as to why I am using the whole maize on that part is that, you know, for this chicken when they are growing and you're continuously give them maize which has a lot of calories, this chicken will end up having a lot of fat. And we don't want this chicken to have a lot of fat. We want to control that fat. That's why we are saying we are using maize germ instead of using the 250 kg of whole maize. And if it is for the growing hens, like these hens that are growing, let me take you inside the coop. So if it is for these growing hens, we usually add, for that 300 kg, we usually add around 20 kgs of lime. why are we only adding 20 kgs of lime? We are only adding 20 kgs of lime so that because these chicken have not yet started producing the eggs yet. So we only give 20 kgs of lime. The lime is what will give the calcium that will be able to make the shell for the egg. And if we are doing for the breeding, it is highly advisable for the roosters, when the chicken have started laying, for those roosters that are here, this one is like for a breeding stock. For those roosters that are here, when the chicken have reached the laying period, make sure that you are able to separate the feed for the females, those are the hens, and for the roosters, which are the males. Why am I saying this? Because when the chicken started laying, you'll increase the lime percentage from 20 kgs to 50 kgs. Okay? So if you end up giving these roosters that same feed that has that high concentration of calcium in it, it will lead to the destruction of the kidney of the roosters. And if that happens, that means that you will end up losing your roosters in your chicken coop, and that is what we don't want. So if you are putting poultry for the purpose of breeding, make sure you take that into consideration. So that is the only way that you will be able to save a lot of money in the feeds of your poultry. Don't waste your money giving your money to the big manufacturers of feed, and yet you can make your own feed. I will post a video on the proper illustration of how you can make your own feed using the concentration. And why am I not using these other kind of ingredients in the making of my own feed? For example, why am I not using, these people usually call it fish meal, here in Kenya people call it ochonga. I'm not using ochonga because ochonga has two disadvantages. And what are the two disadvantages of using ochonga in the formulation of feed for your chicken? If you are using ochonga in the feed formulation of your chicken, it can bring up two problems on your poultry farm. And what can one be? Ochonga have a tendency of being the carriers of salmonella. So these will cause your chicken to have those kinds of waterborne diseases. How does this come about? Ochonga is found in water, and waterborne diseases are found in water. I think you get what I mean. So that is a high chance of your chicken developing high levels of salmonella in their body. So that's also why I'm not using ochonga. And why am I not using these other kinds of ingredients, maybe soya bean, but the proper part, soya bean, sunflower, and the other thing? I'm not using soya bean because soya bean has a high process of processing it. And the benefit of the concentrate is that it has the soya bean in it. If you are able to follow the hard part of you roasting your own soya bean, then well and good. You can do the roasting of the soya bean and you can give it to your chicken. But the only problem is that don't buy the soya bean from these animal feeds if you are not sure of their source. Why am I saying this? Because back then I was sold soya bean which was like 10% in it, and the rest 90% was maize that was rotten and it was crushed to look like soya bean. So when I gave my chicken just started developing some kind of diseases because of the aflatoxin in the rotten maize, and the chicken were not growing fat as I really wanted them to grow big. So that is another problem. So that's why I keep on insisting that you should avoid the ochonga. And also I've read somewhere that the ochonga, the shell of the ochonga it's very hard for the chicken, the enzyme of the chicken stomach to be able to digest it. So it ends up just coming out as brown poop. So that is also something else that I learned along the way. That is why I don't use ochonga. And also the benefit of using concentrate on the maize is that you will be able to cover up your chicken properly, because you know when you're getting these kind of ingredients from a lot of people, it can end up bringing a lot of diseases on your poultry farm because you don't know the source of their feeds properly, of those raw materials. So I'm not discouraging the guys of those that are selling the animal feed. If you really trust the person that is selling to you the animal feed, you can get it from them. But this is just on my part. What I went through is why I recommend the use of the concentrate. If you are able to use the concentrate with only maize, you'll be able to save a lot of money. And that is what we want. We want you guys to be able to save a lot of money and also to make a lot of money. As we do it, we also want you to succeed. So guys, if you really want to make a lot of money in the poultry industry and not waste a lot of money in making of feed, make sure you follow what I've put through and you'll be able to become a rich man. Maybe we will call you the next Liu Yonghang, the Chinese billionaire who is worth $12 billion out of farming. You will say that farming, because China has a huge population, but if you're living in a country like Nigeria and you're doing farming, that country has a lot of people. You can be able to become a billionaire through farming. So that is only a better part. And also if you're living in Kenya and East African countries, we have these trade treaties around East Africa. You can also make a lot of money by really expanding in the poultry sector in East Africa. And you can export your goods outside the country. So guys, just think big and be smart. Follow your passion and see things in the big way. That is how we do it. Make sure you watch the 10 stupid things that most people usually do in poultry farming. See you guys. See you around.